Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Scott, and it's been a couple weeks. I haven't been watching a lot recently. I've been kind of busy. I did finish season 3 of The West Wing. I started season 2 of Mr. Robot. You probably don't care about that. You also probably don't care that I finished season 2 of Search Party. Let's just talk about Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League is the movie that the internet breathed into life, an undoing of Joss Whedon's cut of the original film. A $70 million restoration of Zack Snyder's original vision for Justice League. Okay, internet, this is your fault. First, let's talk about the two big elephants in the room. First, mainly, the movie is 4 hours long, and it feels 4 hours long due to some first half pacing issues that we'll get into here in a minute. And the second elephant in the room is the 4:3 aspect ratio. Sure, it is the full IMAX frame as Zack Snyder originally shot the film, but at times it can feel a little pretentious, especially when you realize that there's nothing in those sides of the film that would change what you're learning. So at times it feels more like Zack Snyder trying to be artsy than anything else. So I want to start with the bad because I think, surprisingly, that the good outweighs the bad here. Let's start with that first half. The first 2 hours of this movie are a bit of a slog to get through. Partly because of some action sequences that range from completely unnecessary to silly, and partly because Zack Snyder can't stop doing Zack Snyder-y things. There's a lot of people walking in slow motion to orchestral music or aiming a bow in slow motion, and when you use slow motion in a 4-hour movie, it just kills the pace and makes the movie feel like 4 hours. But it seemed like for everything I liked about the first half of this movie, there were just as many things that I shook my fist in the air and screamed Zack Snyder's name. The man just can't help himself. And the other thing I can pinpoint that's very bad about the film is the epilogue. These are the added scenes with Ben Affleck as Batman and Jared Leto as Joker having a conversation. It doesn't look very good. It looks different from the rest of the film. It doesn't have the same quality. And there doesn't seem to be a purpose for the scenes at all. It seems to be setting up a cinematic universe that's never going to happen. And as the film is winding down, it feels overly long and overly tacked on. You'd have a more tight narrative if you just chopped that part out of the movie. But now to the good. The extended runtime really works to the benefit of 3 of the characters: the Flash, Cyborg, and Steppenwolf. A lot of the runtime is used to make Steppenwolf a more compelling villain. He's kind of a Darth Vader type in this movie. He's not the top guy, but he wants to get back in the top guy's good graces. So he has a weight to him that makes him more relatable. He's not just an overt bad guy, he's somebody that has motivation. And they also went back and made him look a lot cooler too. And as far as Cyborg and the Flash are concerned, this movie does a lot of the heavy lifting that previous movies probably should have done if they were going with the Marvel formula. But it seems like Zack Snyder realizes that they were kind of rushing into things, so he takes his time setting up Cyborg and Flash, and that gives them more to do throughout the entire film's running time. They're actually part of the crew and have a part to play. So the first half of the movie is more than just slow motion shots and bad pacing. There are some good things in there that add to the second half of the film. It's curious that the film doesn't do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to backstory for Aquaman. This movie, the original Justice League, came out before the standalone Aquaman movie, so it's curious that Zack Snyder relies on you having seen that movie for this one. But if Zack Snyder went through Aquaman's backstory, the movie would have been even longer, so thank God for that. And the extended runtime actually benefits the second half of the story. This is the stuff that we saw in Joss Whedon's cut of the film, but extended and fleshed out and better balanced overall between the characters. There's a reason they do the things they do. There's a reason they bring Superman back to life. They're licking their wounds from one defeat, and they feel like they need another person. That tunnel battle with Steppenwolf feels better. The final action sequence feels a lot more weighted between all of the members of Justice League. Everything just feels more fleshed out and less rushed, which was my biggest problem with Justice League, the original Joss Whedon cut. Not only did the studio rush this movie into existence, in my opinion, as far as having their characters ready for Justice League, but they also rushed through the pacing of Justice League. So the entire experience kind of turned into nothing for me. But for all of the flaws of the pacing of the first half of the film and the awfulness of the epilogue, I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed my time with Zack Snyder's Justice League. It is a better film than Whedon's version. I think we knew it was going to because you have to do something with the extended running time, but I don't know to what extent we thought it would be better. Is this movie way better than the original? Absolutely. Is this the best DCEU movie ever made? Maybe. It's one of Zack Snyder's best DCEU movies, for sure. It's better than the other two he made. But he's a very uneven filmmaker, and those flaws come out in this movie for sure. So is it a perfect movie? Absolutely not. It has huge flaws, but it justifies its existence by making the story more coherent and balanced. So I guess I have to say thank you, Internet. Thank you, Internet.